Welcome to Down at the Barns, following the story of people and their love of classic cars, everything from restoration to electric conversion. Please subscribe to our channel in the link below. On this week's Love My Car edition of the Barns, we meet Barry Lee and his 1969 MGC GT 3 litre, which he purchased in 1989 from his next door neighbour for £500. And as you can see, it wasn't in the best of conditions. He's been working on the car now for 32 years, and here Barry explains the story.
Okay, a lot of people not sure what an MGC is. They think it's an MGB. Well, they get a big surprise when they open the bonnet to see it's not an MGB. I was the same when I bought it. I thought I was buying an MGB off my neighbour, but it turned out to be what it is, an MGC straight 6 3 litre. I had no idea they did a 3 litre because they were quite rare. I think they're even rarer today. When they were in building this vehicle, they were trying to get into the American market with the MGB, but they felt that it just needed that little bit more go in it. So they had this fantastic idea that they would stick a 3 litre engine in it off a vehicle they already had. The problem with it was that the engine was too big and too heavy for an MGB as it was. So they had to do major changes to the body, mainly the front end. They had to take all the subframe out of it and all the spring suspension. And what they did, they put torsion bars in. And also they had to modify the sides, the radiator, bringing us on to why the bonnet is the shape which makes it an MGC. As you can see, the MGC has a power bulge in the bonnet to get the radiator at the front here underneath, and also we have another bulge on here which is to get the carburetors fitted. Whether or not that's how they actually intended it at the beginning, who knows, but this is what they ended up with. The only difference you can tell between an MGB and an MGC is one, the badge on the tailgate, the wheels and the bonnet, as I said earlier, and other than that you think it's an MGB. When I bought the car, it was black with gold stripes. The guy that I bought it off had been looking for a JPS Capri. He bought the vehicle in its original colour, which was like a beigey colour, and he then decided that he wanted this Capri that he couldn't find, so he thought, this has got a nice big engine in it, I can do that, I can take the chrome off it, I can spray it black, it would look like a Capri 3 litre. So he took it home, just done windscreen and stuff, but he didn't take nothing off it. He just then sprayed it in black and put gold stripes, which was really bad. It was really rubbish. Anyway, I bought it like that, and I was determined that I was going to try and keep it looking normal, but not to an extent where I couldn't put my own touches to it. And my own touches was that I loved the colour Radiant Red. I had a Fiesta at the time, which was that colour, and I thought it looked brilliant on this car. So I had it sprayed red. I had a guy that did all the bodywork for me, and in doing that, we've made it our own touches. Like the red's ours. I've modified the dashboard, so it's got the wood. I know a lot of die-hard MG enthusiasts will think you've ruined it, but as me and my wife said from the beginning, we want it, it's our car, this is how we want to do it. We're still keeping an old classic on the road, which is most important. Anything that I've done really could be put back to normal. Most of this, which I have done, I've done at college many years ago when I was a younger lad. And the main bit that I found when I bought this was this area here completely rots away. I think it's a common thing in all of them. And the reason being is these pipes. As you can see, I've already modified mine by putting the copper pipes in,
But before I did that, obviously, where they'd rotted away, all the fluid just runs from these here, and then it runs straight down here, eats all this away, and then also sits around the back here and rots the bottom where the steering shaft goes through. So what I did, I stripped all this out, which was what was left of it, and then what I did, I got the cardboard template, laid it over the top from this point here, and marked out as many of the holes that I could see that hadn't rotted away. I then got a metal sheet of metal once I knew it all fitted correctly, and then I pressed it all out, bent the edges, and then I fitted all this in, as you can see. To stop this ever happening in the future, instead I put the copper pipes in. I've also now tried looking at different fluids that don't eat away at the paint as well, and I'm using a fluid now that's supposed to be paint protected, but I'm not going to trust it. I've already bled the brakes on this, ready for the next stage of it, but in doing so I'll put a bag there just in case I get any drips onto my paintwork. Okay, so then I bought a new tailgate. Wasn't going to buy a new one because I quite liked the one I had. It didn't seem too bad, but when I looked, where the badges were, the other guy who had it before had welded up the holes to make it like his JPS Capri, which I spoke about earlier. So I thought, I've done all this work, I'm going to make sure I get a new tailgate. But in doing so, it made it very difficult to get this to fit perfect all around here with the joints, because I know they're all remanufactured, and all around this area we had lots of trouble trying to get a nice flush. I'm really fussy about my gaps, as you might have noticed on the doors and stuff, so I wanted this nice and flush. So I spent literally weeks after trying to make this look good. Also, where I had a new back panel, one of my regrets was that I didn't get the guy to put the seam back. At the time I thought, oh, it looks better, nice and flush and all the rest of it, but then I've been to a lot of shows and actually a lot of people just look for this seam. Why, I don't know, but I personally really like it as it is. But if I'd had my time again, I would have put the seam in at the back there. So no, they've done a really nice job of it. I opened the tailgate up to show you. You can see all around here where they join it, you can see it looks really, really good. There's no like, oh blimey, it's had a new tailgate or it's had a new back panel. So generally I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I've had the headlamps chromed. These are the new chrome bezels. They're not new ones, they're just re-chromed, which is a beautiful job. When you put them on, you can see how much nicer it looks, but I can't set them, put them on until I've got the headlamps set. I've changed the headlamps from the normal ones, which I can show you, which were these type, and they were steel beam, to the new halogen type, which are more modern and give off a lot more light. And also with that you have to have a relay, which I've done all that. I've relayed in the spot lamps as well, just to try and cut down the power through the wiring. I've also done the centre bezel on the gear shift. I've done the gear shift itself, that's been re-chromed. All the door handles, and also the boot lock and latch. So I've had quite a bit of chroming done. Everything was done many years ago and the chrome's really lasted well. And I'm really pleased with it. So I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's coming along, as you can see, and hopefully very soon I'll be able to move on to the next part. All that's left now, mainly, is to get this engine fitted. I can't wait. I'm absolutely fed up with keep pushing this vehicle.
We'll catch up with Barry and his MGC very soon. But for now, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time down at the Barns.